or good afternoon. Welcome to today's video and welcome back on my channel. And also make sure you hit that like button before you even continue to watch. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. So don't save the likes, but give me the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. We have a very gloomy autumn day, so it's the perfect day for baking a pumpkin pie, a Swedish style pumpkin pie, Pumpapaj. For that occasion, I'm going to use pumpkins from our garden in the countryside. We are in Warsaw, as you can see. We travel back and forth during this autumn between the countryside and Warsaw, but still living in Warsaw. So for this occasion, I'm using pumpkins from our garden in the countryside, as I mentioned. Actually, I think garden center cheated us because we bought the seeds and they were supposed to be giant pumpkins. They are quite small, medium size, so I think they cheated us there. I think this will be enough for my Swedish pumpkin pie, but if not, I have another one. Another beauty. And otherwise I'm going to use this later this week for a pumpkin and lentil soup. Now, what is a Swedish pumpkin pie? I have no idea what kind of pumpkin pies you eat over in America or UK. Maybe they are similar, but this is a traditional Swedish recipe. It's quite popular in Sweden to eat pumpkin pies. Here in Poland we eat pumpkin cakes. I have a recipe for a pumpkin cake that I think I made a year or 2 years ago, so I will link it up here and in the description box as well. I call it a pumpkin cake, maybe you would call it a pumpkin loaf, but that's what I usually bake, and it's very Polish to bake a pumpkin cake slash loaf. And in Sweden you bake pumpkin pies. This will be the second time in my life that I do this pumpkin pie and any pumpkin pie in general. So let's get going. So first of all I need to do the crust and then the filling and then bake it and it will be ready. So for the crust I'm going to need 125 grams of butter, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 egg yolk and around 3 deciliters, which is 300 grams of flour. That's for the crust. Okay, an update. This crust is ready. But there was a modification, so because it wasn't achieving the consistency it should. I don't remember if it did last time, but this is what I did for the crust. Almost 200 grams of butter. I have a small piece left. 300 grams of flour, that's unchanged. I used all wheat flour and then a little bit of unrefined. Still 2 tablespoons of sugar, but I added a whole egg and not just the yolk, the whole egg, and 4 tablespoons of water to make it more moist. Now I'm going to roll it out, put it in the form, which is already buttered and floured, the form, and put it in the fridge. I've got around 450 grams of pumpkin, which I'm going to cut in smaller pieces. I already carved out the seeds and I will boil until it's a little soft, so maybe 8-10 minutes. So while the pumpkin is boiling for around 10 minutes and the crust is in the fridge for 1 hour, I'm going to sip on my pumpkin cold brew. from Starbucks. I bought it actually yesterday, but it was like in the afternoon, evening, so I had half, and I thought, what better way than to sip on it now, today, making my pumpkin pie. It's actually very tasty, but I would prefer to have more of the pumpkin foam, because the coffee is very strong, so I would prefer more of those pumpkin spices. I've got my soft boiled pumpkin. Going to add it here. I of course drained the water. Here I have some pumpkin seeds that was inside the pumpkin, so I will dry the seeds later. And let's go in with the filling. I'm adding 2 eggs. Also 150 gram sugar, so I'm going to use a mixture of white and brown sugar. The brown sugar gives that extra taste and color. And now I'm also going to use 200 grams of Greek style yogurt. You could use cream, but I almost never buy cream. This is a fat yogurt that is a little soury, so I decided to use this natural yogurt. In Sweden you use something called crème fraîche. It needs to have a consistency like that and be a little fatter. And now the spices. I'm using a fork to smash the pumpkin and make this an even mixture. And then the spices. For spices, I'm using 1 teaspoon of ginger, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and also a gingerbread spice. I like my cakes a little bit more tasty and spicy, and this spice contains also cinnamon and clover and coriander, so I'm going to add a huge teaspoon of that as well. (200°C), around 50 minutes into the oven. Beautiful. The crust decided to collapse a little here. While waiting for my husband to come back from the countryside, he stayed a little longer. I'm going to have the tiniest little bit and do a taste test for you. I think I'm allowed just the tiniest little bit. Amazing. Really, really amazing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. More great videos are coming.